Hey everyone, want to try and give away a couple of tips, want to give away a couple of tidbits, want to give some understanding away to people to try and help you get past procrastination, help you try and connect with what's most purposeful and help you to get more out of your day. There's some simple little hacks and a little bit of information that can really turn around the productivity in your life and certainly then put you on a trajectory towards achieving just a whole lot more. So we kind of want to talk about our technology and how it distracts us and just how much information we are bombarded by. This age of information technology is amazing, and what our technology can do now is incredible, but it also comes at a cost. It's not all positive. So this, the very fact that we are bombarded with so much information is a lot for the brain to deal with. So these days, with the amount of information that we take in a day, the amount of information that the human brain is exposed to and has to deal with and try and process in one day, is equivalent to about the same amount that people in the Middle Ages, in like the 1400s, literally had to deal with in their whole life. So we're absorbing and taking in as much information in one day as people a number of centuries ago used to have to take in their entire lifetime. So that's a lot to deal with. How does your brain know what's important? How does it know what to switch off from? How can it possibly process absolutely all of that? These are questions that become management issues, and so we've hopefully got some tips to try and give away that I think is going to help for you to try and manage that and then do better and achieve more in your life. The other thing to look at is the programs. So the brain just wants to go unconscious. It wants to get on that autopilot. We've talked about this lots before, and it just wants to run those habituated programs and kind of stay asleep, stay unconscious, because it knows there it's going to expend less energy, which then gives you more time to hunt, find food, refuel, survive. It's basically the brain's hierarchy of priorities is just survival. So if we look at the neurotransmitters, and this is what I experience, so that when I'm aware of what the neurotransmitters are, and I know that if I'm trying to stay on task about something, there's something I want to achieve, and I'm trying to focus, and then all of a sudden I think, oh, actually I should just check Instagram and see if there's some comments that I should reply to, or maybe there's some DMs that I should get back to. I know that's just dopamine that's literally trying to give me a little bit of a hit, and it's my body trying to get me to go unconscious. I know that if again, trying to stay on task, if I'm trying to stay focused about something, particularly if it's in movement, if I'm moving, then all of a sudden I'm trying to hold a particular position, or I'm concentrating on getting a posture or a pose or something right, or achieving a specific perfection in movement, and then all of a sudden I find physiological sensations in my body that take my attention away from what I'm trying to focus on, and I might get an itch, I might find an itchy sensation. I know there's a really good chance that that's histamine being elevated in my system just in that moment, and the subconscious is elevating or inhibiting those neurotransmitters so that it can create a sensation or create an effect in the body that will distract me from what I'm doing, try and pull me off course and just get me back to being unconscious, get me back onto the autopilot. Now, that's what we call, like with our technology, we can look at that and say that's digital distraction. So we know that with, say, that direct message or the Instagram or Facebook or whatever the social media alert is, or an email ping or a text message going off, those noises that just distract us, things popping up on the screen that literally just draw our attention away from what we're doing all the time. They're what we call a digital distraction. Now, like we said, we can go into the neurotransmitters, but it's not actually really important to know what neurotransmitters are actually going off in the body. It's just important to understand that those things are just distractions. Now, if we succumb to those distractions, it's because we've given them a level of importance. We've given them a level of importance in a life when really perhaps they don't need that level of importance. What is most true to you will be what relates to or supports your highest values. Your highest values will be the highest values of the person who you truly are. Now, for any of the people who are watching this that have done work with me, you will have an idea of what that is already, and you'll have an idea of what's most important to you, more than likely, or certainly more than you will have did beforehand. And when you know what's true to you and you know who you truly are, when you know that you are something far more than just that collection of behaviors, collection of patterns, collection of emotions, emotional reactions, defensive reactions, all those patterns of behavior that we spend all of our time in, when you know that you are so much more than that and you have an idea of who that person is, then connecting with that truth is really powerful, because then you can actually consciously give importance to the things that support your highest values. Give importance to the things that support the truth of who you are. Give importance to the things that support you reaching towards your highest expression. When we're aware of what those things are, then those things that we do will pull us into resonance, and that's when we'll experience that effortless inspiration, and it'll be far easier to just switch off from those distractions and take the importance away from them and then not be distracted by them. If you haven't done any of that kind of processing, if you haven't done the subconscious work and put new beliefs in and changed the programming to align with that truth of who you are, which already exists, if you haven't done that, then this is perhaps a little more challenging, but it's definitely not impossible. And you should definitely look into following these tips and hopefully getting the benefit that is available for you out of it. So those digital distractions that pop up, we give importance to them, and if we give importance to them, it takes our attention away and it literally pulls us off track from what we're doing. Now, some people like to look at this in terms of will, like willpower, or people say we have free will to choose whatever we want. The free will discussion is probably another talk for another time, but I'm just going to go on record and say really what free will is. The truth of what free will is that we have free will to choose absolutely anything that we want. And really what it actually is it's the free will to choose anything other than the perfection that is available to us in the universe. So there is a perfect path, there is a perfect plan, there is an absolutely perfect life for each of us, and we have the free will to choose something else. And so we can choose to use our free will to choose something else, or we could potentially connect with what the truth of who we are is and then align with what's perfect. Two very, very different experiences of life. Getting back to that willpower and getting distracted. So what you're doing essentially is it's your will. It's your willpower that's being taken away in those moments by those distractions. Now, whether or not you've trained it, whether or not you understand it, you have the ability, you have it within you to be 100% focused and not be distracted by anything. You may consider yourself to be the biggest procrastinator in the history of the world. You still have it within you to focus your will and stay on track and ignore those distractions. Now, I'm going to give an example that I got from Bentinho Massaro, and he's worth following if it takes your fancy. But I just think this is a really fantastic example of looking at how we can focus our will, and he speaks about it beautifully. But imagine if you were playing at the beach or playing at a lake and you were playing with friends in the water, and then for whatever reason, one of your friends just put you underwater. If you're there for 1 second, 2 seconds, you might be noticing the temperature of the water, you might be looking at the sandy bottom, you might be noticing the rays of light that are coming through the water. After 5 seconds, you might be starting to evaluate the strength of the grip that is holding you under the water, and then after 5 to 10 seconds, you might be starting to think, is this real? Is this a game anymore? What's actually happening? But all those little things that you were previously distracted by or looking at, by the time you get to 20 seconds, 30 seconds under the water, absolutely none of that matters anymore, because what you're placing your greatest importance on at that point is survival. What you're placing your greatest importance on is oxygen, getting the air that you understand, that you know in that moment you need to be able to not drown, to be able to survive. So at that point, when you've been under the water for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you're starting to potentially have fear and panic, the only thing that is in your mind at that point is getting to the surface of the water. You see the surface of the water, and the only thing you're thinking about is the ways that you could possibly get there. How do you break free from this grip and get there? There's nothing else that's in your mind at that point. Now, in that scenario, it's fear and potentially panic that has garnered your focus and allowed you to do that. But you can do that without fear or panic. If you're able to do it, you're able to do it. So if you're able to do it in that situation, you're able to do it in any situation. So a really, really simple thing that you can do is when those distractions come up, you can literally just say, no, thank you. Now, exactly like we were saying before, if there is a perfect plan in the universe, if the universe actually is perfect, there is a perfection to things, then those distractions, there's nothing we need to do about them. If the universe is perfect, then the distractions are also perfect too, which means you can literally just give that distraction love and just say, you are perfect as you are. I don't need to do anything about you right now. No, thank you. I'm going to get back to my task. So simple acknowledgement and a no thank you is a conscious statement that just allows you to get back to that task. And it's a statement that can literally be a circuit breaker for you. So make that little statement, no thank you, get back to your task. It will be far easier, as I said, if that task is something that resonates with the truth of who you are. And then when you just continue to put importance on the things that are most important to who you truly are and where your life is truly going, it'd be really easy to pull yourself out of those distractions. But think of what you are doing. Think of what you are trying to give importance to. Think of that like that surface of the water. Think of that like that air in that example. And so when you look at it and you think, if where I want to go in my life, this is taking me to where I want to go, taking me to my highest expression, taking me towards my very best version of self, taking me towards my very best life, I am placing a level of importance on that, like it is that oxygen in that example, like it is getting to the surface of the water. So, no, thank you. You're perfect. Stay where you are. I'm going to get back to this. Give it a try. It could potentially change your life. If you want help, or you just find that no thank you is not strong enough because you don't know who you truly are and you don't know where your life is truly supposed to go, then that's the point to reach out. That's the point to reach out to someone like myself, or somebody else whose words resonate with you, that you believe could potentially help you find that. And when you find it, it's going to be way easier to get past those habits of procrastination and potentially access your very best life. So make use of that and have a really great day.